Hey guys, I'm doing this quick video to show you how to animate a donut pie chart such as this one. The reason I'm doing this video is because I couldn't find a simple solution online, so I ended up with this, so that's why I'm sharing it with you. Here we are using Google Charts, which is basically a JavaScript library that is free for all, and it allows you to draw charts, animate them, and track user interaction with it and react to those interaction. But the problem we have with pie charts is that if we go into, if we go in the animation page, come on, we can see in the specs that none of the modification are supported for pie charts. So we cannot change the value with the code that is provided for us on the website, sorry. So that's why we need another solution, and the solution that I chose was to use the setInterval method, and that allows us to draw over and over the chart, but we're changing the value every time we redraw it. So that's why it looks like it's animating. So we're going to start with the pie charts example that we can find on the website. And more specifically, we're going to start with the donut chart example because that's what we want. And yeah, it looks like what we want. If we look at the code, we can see that basically we are using this document, and on page load, basically, we are calling the draw chart function, which is right here, and it allows us to set up data. So it's pretty straightforward. This looks like a table of tables. So these are the column titles and these are the data sets. And an option variable which will hold a lot of options actually that you can see in the specs if you'd like. I'm going to show you what I'm using in this example. Then it allows us to set the element in which we want to draw the chart, and then we draw the chart by calling the data variable and the option variable. So we'll just copy that to our project, and we're gonna just call it piechartanimation.html, and we're gonna see if it works just fine, which it does. We have the same example at the website. So let's see what we can do to go from there to there. So we're gonna want to get rid of a bunch of things: the title, the legend, the mouse over effect, the text over the slices. We're gonna want to remove a lot of slices because we only need 2. So let's first remove the slices. So we only want 2. And to start, let's say we want something that looks like 70% and 30%. Let's just see if it works. So indeed, we have only two slices. We want to remove the title, and as I said, there's a bunch of other things that we want to do, and to do that we're going to use this code, which pretty much says that for the first slice we're going to use the color black, and for the second one we're going to use transparent so we don't see it. We're going to remove the legend by using this. We are going to say that we don't want any interactivity, so there are no effects such as this one. We're going to want to remove the pie slice text, which is this, and we're simply setting up an height and a width, and we're saying that the pie chart area should hold all the place that is available to us in this element. So let's save and let's refresh it. It looks like what we want. So now we want to animate it, and as I said, we're going to use the setInterval function. So we're going to name our interval, which is called interval, and use the setInterval function. Here we will have the code we want to execute, and there we specify how often we want it to execute, so that's 20 for 20 milliseconds. One of the things we want to do here is to draw the chart. So we're going to put that here. And in order to have it animate, we're going to start at 0. So we're going to set that start value here. Let's say it start at 0. We're going to want to set a max value, which will be, let's say, 80. And we'll want to set an increment value. Oops, sorry. I don't know why I put a space there. An increment value that will be just 1 for now. Then we're gonna use value for the first row, for the first data, and 100 minus 1, 100 minus value, sorry, for the second slice. And let's just see what happens there. So we have nothing, obviously, because the first slice is at 0 and the second slice is at 100. Now we want to increase, so you cannot see that the shot is actually being drawn every 20 milliseconds now. What we want to do is to change the data every time we draw the shot. So we drew the shot here, now we want to change the data. For that, we're going to use the setValue method. And that allows us to specify which row and which column we want to change the value of, and then the new value. So for that, we're going to use value plus increment, but we want to do that multiple times. So we're actually going to change the value of value by adding increment to it every time. We will also want to change the second value here, the value of the second data set. So we're just going to say that it's the second row. We ignore this because this is just for the title. So it's the second row, second column. So 1, 1, and the value will be again 100 minus value. Let's check it out. All right, it animates and it fills up, but there's an error in the end because it never stopped filling up, and value actually reached 101, giving us a total value of -1, and we cannot have a negative value for this shot. So before we draw the shot, we should always check if the value is not greater than the max value. And if it is, we should stop the interval. So that for that we use the clear interval method, which take as a parameter the name, the ID of the interval, which is this. And actually, in order to prevent some error such as this one, if we play with the increment, we could, let's say, okay, let's just try this. Let's say max value is 100 and the increment is 3. Sorry, so there's a bug. I forgot something somewhere. Oh, yeah, sure. There we go. We have a bug because before it could draw the last one, we've reached 102 here for value, so we have a negative value again. So we want value to be below max value minus increment. That way, it will stop at value equals 99 instead of going up to 102. But we don't necessarily want max value to be that high. Let's just say 85%, and let's go back with an incremental 1. And let's check this out. And that works perfectly. If you want to increase the speed at which the donut fills up, you can either set a shorter period, let's say 10 milliseconds, it should go twice as fast. Or actually increase the increment, so let's say 2, it should go twice as fast again. And here you are. I'm gonna put this code with some commentary in the description of the video, and hopefully it's useful for you. You can do some work with it.